How's Pedro's status?
Good. I mean, he got out there today. He's for sure really sore. So we'll just evaluate. We're just trying to get guys turned over. So evaluate him as the day progresses, and then even into tomorrow.
And it was from the tackle in the first half. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was more of a he landed on him. Or I can't exactly remember it, but yeah, it was like essentially almost like a stomp on him, not on purpose, of course, but yeah, on his ankle and Achilles there.
Any other injury updates to anybody?
No, I think everybody else is the same.
Okay.
Just-
Mascara's still out.
Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
Q's still out.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, a three-game series. Do you approach a three-game or potential three-game series any differently than you do a wild card one-off?
No, I mean, like I've approached every game. The game at hand is the one that matters. Can't think about what's going to happen at the next one. There's for sure two games, so focus on this one and go for the win. I mean, that's the aim of the game, and to go for the win, and then we'll worry about the next game as it comes.
Y'all are unbeaten against them in past three. You're one of two Eastern Conference teams they did not beat this season. Why have y'all had success when others haven't?
Look, we were pretty efficient in our chances. I think that if I remember correctly, when we were there, we had to defend deep a lot of times. We were pretty good on the counter. The chances that they had, we limited, and they had one really good chance, obviously, that Messi ended up scoring when we were there. But before that, they had other things that they created and just didn't finalize for them. On the other hand, we finalized our transition moments, and we were relatively efficient with the ball.
Is there such a thing as a formula to try to use when you're playing them, or is it just circumstances dictate what's necessary?
No, I mean the formula probably changes every game because they've got players that can play in different positions. They've got a really deep squad. So even the game here was a little bit different than the game was in Miami. The circumstances will be a little bit different for sure, no matter who plays for them. But there's no perfect formula for that. That's for sure.
What would be the importance of recovering the ball quicker and have possession of the ball in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think recovering the ball as quick as possible, typically whenever we play anybody, is important. But knowing that, yeah, there's going to be spells where we don't have the ball. That's been true for a lot of the opponents we've played against. It's been something that we've touched on about being better defensively, something that we thought we could be a little bit more, make progress in and help us win more games. We've seen little bits, or we're not complete at that yet, for sure. And then when we have the ball, it's being efficient with it, being as pragmatic as possible. When the space is on to play, can we go and play? Like look at the Montreal game, for instance. Like we end up stringing a lot of passes together and then score a goal. But at the end of the day, like it could have been a transition moment that wins you the game. So each game might present something different. In this game, yeah, being efficient with the ball, and I think that's the big one for me.
Getting Leno on the midfield from last game, is it something that might be possible for this game too?
Sorry, getting what?
Lennon on the midfield instead of
Yeah, I mean, there's possibility. He's a versatile player. He can play as a winger. He did that as he was younger, and then he can also play as a fullback. Having guys that are healthy and fit and in good rhythm and good momentum is really important.
How have you seen this team's confidence grow in getting results on the road during your time in charge?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a belief in themselves. I think that happens when you get the results, and like we touched on, I think yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever it was, that like now it's happening towards the end of the season. There's the first time we've had 3 results go our way in a row in the whole season, so I think that now they have that internal belief, but you have to keep proving yourself every single day, and so that's what it's about. Keep showing up and keep proving yourself day in, day out.
You mentioned on Tuesday that if you had your choice, you would play right away. Obviously, you have to wait a couple of days, but do you sense that maybe that's kind of the same attitude you're seeing from the players as well, that they were maybe it's kind of a boost in the second part of the season where it's such a long grind, but now you're in the playoffs, you're winning games, and that maybe everyone kind of feels the same way you do going into the series?
Probably not. They probably don't feel that way. I mean, they're sore, they're running around and all that. So it's not me. It's just more the mentality for me is that like this is exactly where we wanted to be. We wanted to be in the playoffs. Whether it was for me at that time, like when it came down to it, was whether you're 8th seed, 9th seed, whether you're in the wherever you're at, you just want to be in postseason. So at this point, would we have wanted there to be something different? Sure, off the start, we wanted to be in a better spot. We weren't. So at that point, we were like, hey, we want to be here and we want to continue on. So that was my comment about I'll show up the next day. I know they wouldn't think the same thing.
Sure.
But, yeah, there's something to be said with just having momentum and playing again. Would I prefer there to be more rest? 100%. I think it's a little bit crazy that of our last 3 games, this will be our 3rd one. The travel schedule, the games, and that's difficult. So, but there's no excuses. Like, this is exactly where we wanted to be, and now we're blessed to be here, and we're going to push on.
How do you combat that? Because it is an unusual, crazy schedule to playoffs, so it's very high intensity matches. What do you do differently to kind of make sure they're good to go, so they get the best out of it?
Yeah, I mean, recovery, sleep's a big thing. So when we got back as quick as possible, it's just getting them to get to their houses, get to sleep. I mean, that they've got to recover as quick as possible. When we get to Miami, different recovery methods, and that they eating food, all the right nutrition stuff. So that's the biggest part. There's not a ton on the field that we have done, and then also making sure that they're mentally fresh and ready to go.
And from a mental standpoint, the fact that now you guys have been in this situation where for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, you guys have been in these must-win situations. How does that help you when you enter now the playoffs, where you guys have been in that mentality mode where we need to win in the playoffs for the last week and a half?
Yeah, well, it's been like that for a while, to be honest. So the mentality, I told them, hasn't changed. For me, it hasn't changed. Every game's must win, and that's how we show up, and that's how we've been approaching it. And when the result hasn't gone our way in the past, we've dusted ourselves off and kept showing up. So now over the last, it's not even been 3 weeks, over the last however many days that we played these games, the mentality's been the same. We live to fight another day, and now we wake up, we live to fight another day, and now we go again. So now the mentality won't shift from us, and it's all about the inner belief that we have, and everything on the outside won't matter.
Jay and Sleesh have been really solid in the midfield for you guys. How important are they going to be going up against this heavily offensive side in Inter Miami, and especially how well they did in the last game when they were at the Benz?
Yeah, I mean, those two have done a really good job, and they've created a good partnership. And then also we have other midfielders that can come in and make a difference when they get leggy as well. So there's competition in there. I've said it before. Although I'm sure the other guys would be more disappointed in not playing as much as they maybe think they should. Those two have done a good job, and I think that's just also having competition is really good at this point, to have guys that can come in and still make an impact. And those two, whether it's those two are chosen to play, that I know they'll be ready to go and make an impact as they have.
How have you seen that relationship develop between Jay and Sleesh as being in the midfield?
Yeah, I mean, from a more of a social standpoint, Jay's a character that likes to give a lot of banter, and I think his teammates like giving that banter back. So, and he's a younger guy, so giving that on the other side, it's something that he's come accustomed to. So it's been fun to watch how they interact with each other. But I mean, all of them, like all of them treat each other. So it's been a good bond that I've seen them kind of grow into.
You've got a
Talked
3-game.
about-
Oh, go ahead, Jason.
You've talked about how much you learned and looked up to Tata when he was here in 2018. How rewarding, how does it feel to go up against him in this series?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we just wanted to be here, right? And so it didn't matter who we were going to play against. Now we get to play against Miami, and to play against Tata is great. He's a fantastic coach. I learned a ton from him when he was here, and I really appreciated the way he treated me, and even when we saw him the last time when they were here, the way he interacted with myself. And he's thought of fondly, I'm sure, with the fans and at the club in general. He created a lot of great memories for people. So it's something that I'm really looking to embrace, because it was a regular season game where they're chasing supporters shield and record of points, and we're chasing to scrape into the playoffs. So we were at different stages, and now you look at it and it's the heat of the moment, and it's the battle to keep playing. So this will be a really interesting one, but I'm always grateful to see him, and I'm appreciative of what he did for me.
You've got a 3-game win streak going. Do you believe in like superstitions or repetitions? Is there anything you're continuing to do that you were doing when the win streak started that you'll do on Friday?
Nope.
No socks, nothing in the pocket, nothing like that?
No, I mean, like, I have my routines. I have my way of doing my daily habits. But that's just more about how I show up and how I am as a person. I'm sure players have their own ways, but I learned a long time ago that that doesn't actually make the ball go in the net or not go in the net. So when those habits were controlling me, I try to change those as quick as possible.
And last one for me, is there anything you absolutely cannot do on Friday if you hope to win? The number one thing you absolutely cannot do.
You can't concede goals and not score. That's
Other than the obvious.
As really basic as that. That's it. You got to be you got to be really efficient with the ball, defend, organized, compact, discipline, and yeah, you got to limit the chances they create. We know they've got fantastic players, fantastic squad. Not only just the big names that we all know, but yeah, like that's a bit silly, but yeah, that's my answer to that.
No, that's fine.
Penalty kicks are being crucial in this last game. How important are they on the training station on the penalty kicks?
Yeah, look, we trained them during the Leagues Cup time, and now we don't have time to train really. So we take a lot of information based off what we did before, what guys have done in their career, and then as the moment happens, who's on the field and what the moment presents itself. You know, we didn't want to be in that position to go to penalties, and then we had to, and the guys stepped up and were really brave in the moment to take the penalties. You know, especially against the supporters' side where the people weren't really cheering for them, I would say. So no, there's not much more that we will do on the field at this moment.
The banner made its rounds on social media. Who came up with that idea?
Which one?
Post-season.
No, the equipment managers put that together for the team. I thought it was a really nice touch. Look, I know it's not choice words, but you know, it's us that we have this intrinsic belief in ourselves, and belief in us as a group. I've had this belief in the group from day one, us as a staff, that we can go and create something. Once you get in the playoffs, it's a whole different beast. So I think that, yeah, it was a nice touch from them. I guess I should just stop there.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rob.